Hello, Cougars. I have a new book today. This book is one that my son loved when he was about your age. It's called Fish Do the Strangest Things. Now, there's a couple of times where they refer to something that's 3 feet long. So I wanted to show you a yardstick and show you how long 3 feet is. If I hold this out, you can see it on the video. That's 3 feet. It's a little bit shorter than a kindergartner. Another thing it refers to is 3 inches long. 3 inches long is about as long as my finger. So you'll see those two measurements in this book a couple of times. Oh, Fish Do the Strangest Things by Lenora and Arthur Hornblow, and the illustrations are by Michael K. Frith. I'm going to do this video in 3 parts. 5 chapters, and I think 6 chapters, because it's kind of a long book. Fish do the strangest things. The fish that goes fishing. Fishermen catch many strange fish, but one of the strangest fish of all does her own fishing. She lives deep down in the dark sea. She is called the deep sea angler. The deep sea angler has her own fishing rod. It grows out of the top of her head and hangs in front of her mouth. The tip of her rod shines in the deep, dark water. This tip is the bait on her fishing rod. Hungry fish see her bait. They think it is something to eat. A hungry fish will swim around toward the shiny bait. The angler opens her wide mouth. The fish swims closer and closer. He swims right at the bait. Then the angler closes her mouth. Snap! That's the end of that fish. The female deep sea angler may grow to be 3 feet long. Remember 3 feet? That's a long fish. It's almost as tall as you. But her husband is much smaller. He is only about 3 inches long as my finger. Almost as soon as he is born, the male angler starts looking for a wife. When he finds her, he fastens onto her side with his mouth. Here he is, right there. Soon, their skin grows together. After this, they will never be parted. Now, he will never lose her in the dark. The male angler has no fishing rod. He does not need one. His wife does all the fishing for him. The next fish is called the sharpshooter. Many fish like to eat insects. One of these is the archer fish. Other fish have to catch insects in their mouths. Not the archer. He can just shoot them down. He points his head at a bug and spits. The drops of water shot from the archer's mouth hit the insect so hard it is knocked out. It falls into the river. The archer swims over and eats it up. He can hit a bug over 3 feet away. The little sharpshooter almost never misses. It is a wonderful way to catch an insect, but don't you try it. Spitting is only for archer fish. Look out for sharks. All that you may ever see of a shark at sea is his dark fin cutting through the water. If you want to see more, go to an aquarium. It's safer. Sharks are very mean-looking fish. Some of them are as mean as they look. Some of them will even eat people. Even a shark's skin is dangerous. It is covered with tiny, sharp scales. The scales are like little teeth. Swimmers have been hurt just brushing up against a shark. The great white shark is a huge fish. In his great mouth, there are rows and rows of terrible teeth. He is one of the worst man-eaters. The hammerhead is just as dangerous as the white shark, and he is much stranger looking. He has one of the oddest heads of any fish. It is shaped like a hammer. He has one eye at each end of his head. See here and at that end? A hammerhead's eyes may be 3 feet apart. The biggest fish in the sea is a shark. He is called a whale shark. But this giant fish eats only tiny fish and plants. He does not eat people. A whale shark may even let people ride on him. It would not be wise to try to ride any other kind of shark. Other sharks cannot be trusted. They may attack at any time, and if there is blood in the water, it drives them crazy. If a fish or a person has been hurt, the sea may suddenly be full of sharks. They attack wildly. If one of the sharks is hurt, the others turn on him. They don't mind eating each other. Most of the time, though, a shark will look things over before he attacks. A deep-sea diver may find himself looking right into the face of a big shark. If the diver stays quiet, the shark will probably go away. Most sharks would rather eat fish than people. There is a silly story that a shark will go away if you hit him on the nose. Sometimes dolphins will do this to fight off a shark. Dolphins are wonderful swimmers. It is all right for them to try it. It is not a good idea for anyone else. The hitchhiker. The remora can travel for thousands of miles beneath the sea without swimming. He has a wonderful way of getting around. He just catches a ride on a bigger fish. The remora holds on with the top of his head. The top of his head is flat. There is a suction cap on it. With this cap, he can quickly fasten onto another fish. He cannot fall off unless he wants to. It's right there. The remora rides on sharks so much he is often called a shark sucker. Sometimes many remoras will ride on the same shark at the same time, but remoras will ride on almost any big fish. The remora gets a free ride, and he also gets free meals. When the big fish catches his dinner, the remora lets go. He swims around and eats up the leftovers. And sometimes he just lets go and goes off fishing by himself. Some people use these little remora to help them catch big fish or turtles. The fishermen tie a line to the remora's tail. Then they get in their boat. They paddle away from the shore. When they see a turtle, they let out their fishing line. Away goes the remora. The remora quickly fastens onto the turtle. The men in the boat pull the remora in. The turtle is caught just as surely as if it had been hooked. That shows how strong the remora's suction cap is. He is one little fish that really uses his head. The Sleeping Beauty. Most fish can breathe only underwater. If they are out of the water too long, they'll die. The African lungfish is not like any other fish. He can live out of water for years. He can breathe air. The lungfish needs to be able to breathe air. In Africa, the hot summer sun may dry up the stream where he lives. Before the stream is all dried up, the lungfish curls up in the mud on the bottom. He leaves a tiny hole in the mud to breathe through. He wraps his tail over his eyes. The mud gets hard and dry. This does not matter to the lungfish. He is asleep. He will sleep until the rains come. The rains will fill the streams again. They will wash him free of his mud ball. While a lungfish is in his mud ball, he can be dug out of the ground. He can be sent to an aquarium far from his home. At the aquarium, the mud ball is opened. This must be done with great care. If the mud ball breaks, so will the lungfish. The lungfish has had nothing to eat or drink for a long time. He is much smaller than he was when he went to sleep. He is wrinkled and dry and still curled up. In a tank of water, he straightens out. He eats, and soon he is fatter than ever. He will be all right if he is left alone. He does not like he does not even like another lungfish to share his tank. Sometimes young lungfish will live together for a while without fighting. Then one will bite off the fins and the scales of the other. Luckily for lungfish, they can grow new ones. This is one more strange thing about this strange fish from Africa. Well, that's all for part 1 of Fish Do the Strangest Things. Join me next time for parts 2 and parts 3. Have a good day.